Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Unwoke Thoughts. Big show for you guys today. I hope everybody had a fantastic 4th of July. Did everybody get to watch some fireworks? I live right on Lake Michigan, so all I had to do is walk onto my porch and I got to see the fireworks show. Now, there were some people that were kind of close by in my neighborhood who are lighting off fireworks. And I'm standing out on my porch and I'm getting rained down. I'm getting rained down with firework particles. My porch is kind of up in the air. It's not like down on the ground. It's like up in the air, kind of propped up because I have this apartment that I live in that's in this building. I have like the whole upstairs. And it's a great view of Lake Michigan, great view of the fireworks. But those people, they were blowing off fireworks, rained down with firework particles, like little pieces of cardboard, kind of. No, I'm kidding. It was a nice time. I got to enjoy some fireworks. It was nice. I hope you guys got to enjoy some fireworks. But we got a big show for you guys today. Lots happened between now and yesterday, believe it or not. We have some stuff that we're going to talk about. We have Vivek, who came out. He explains how Biden will be swapped out when the time comes. When the time is right, Biden will be swapped out. He is firm on that. He's saying, by no uncertain terms, will Biden not be swapped out. So we'll see what Vivek has to say about that idea. I tend to agree with him, but I mean, I guess anything could happen. And then, of course, the White House threw a 4th of July party hosted by the president and the first lady, our strong, fearless leader, president, and the beautiful, lovely first lady, Jill Biden, where our strong, fearless leader, Joe Biden, was spotted with food on his suit. No! Just when we thought it couldn't get any worse. He was spotted with food on his suit, and I will show you that. Kamala at this party almost introduces President Joe Biden as vice president, and then she catches herself. But we caught her before she caught herself, so I will be showing that to you as well. Joe Biden, he mixed up his holidays and indicates that he might have thought yesterday was Christmas for just a little bit of time. Maybe for a split second, he thought yesterday was Christmas. It's really, really weird. And then we have something kind of weird going on. Young kids are now popping up on TikTok shilling for Joe Biden. And it's very strange stuff going on. Kamala Harris, of course, over the past few months before this whole debate debacle, there are videos popping up of her lying about Joe Biden's health and saying that, of course, if there was a problem, in one of the videos, she's saying, if there was a problem, of course I would tell everybody. But now we know that's not true and that she was just lying through her teeth. Vladimir Putin says he supports Trump's plan to end the war in Ukraine. We'll talk about that. And then we'll finish off with an interesting one. Massachusetts is trying to remove gendered words such as mother and father from birth certificates and other government-issued papers. So very, very odd how they like to attack our, really the bedrocks of our society. I mean, this is something that we've used gendered words like mother and father for literally, I don't know how long. I mean, it's so historical. I mean, it's so deeply ingrained in us, and they just want to rip that away and say that somehow that this is okay. But that is just the society we live in today, guys, and that's one of the things we are fighting back against very hard. This stuff to me is pure evil, where they're trying to make everyone kind of androgynous and remove gender and all these other things. That to me is one of the evilest things that the left has conjured up. And that is one thing I will fight with I'll fight against to the end. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's start with Vivek Ramaswamy. We'll start with a little bit of a interesting one here. Because everybody is wondering, how is Joe Biden going to be swapped out? What are the mechanics of it? And Vivek Ramaswamy, my boy, he always has a very good explanation. And this is what he had to say.
Is it actually possible at this point, now in the month of July, this is the month of the Republican convention, the Democratic convention is literally next month, is it actually feasible and possible for the Democrat Party to move Biden to one side, or has that ship effectively sailed?
Vivek, first, thanks for having me. It is incredibly simple at this stage of the game to replace Biden as the Democratic nominee for president. Let me say, you're brave, frankly, for even having this conversation, for going where many in conservative circles are simply refusing to go. They're engaging in this wishful thinking where they actually believe that a vegetable is going to must be the Democratic nominee for president. That's simply not the case. There are many ways along the path by which Biden can be swapped out as the nominee.
So like what? Like, how exactly would they do it?
Sure. So where people get it wrong is assuming that the Democrats have a nominee at this point. Where we are in the process is that the primaries have merely elected delegates who will go to the convention and choose the nominee. So here are the ways that this could actually happen. First off, Biden may never make it to the convention in the first place. There could be a different nominee put forward. And so much of the narrative has been, well, all of these delegates that came out of the primary process are pledged, must vote for Biden as the Democratic nominee. Under the Democrats' own rules, that's not the case. In fact, the rules, and I'm reading right here, delegates to the National Convention pledged to a presidential candidate shall in all good conscience reflect the sentiments of those who elected them. Now, that's very different than the way the RNC rules read, which say that a delegate is bound to the candidate who sent them there on the first ballot. So under the DNC's own rules, delegates don't even have to vote for Biden.
So it looks like there might be a bunch of delegates possibly getting together and voting for another candidate to be the nominee for the Democrat Party. Now, there was another video, and believe it or not, this is the video I thought it was. I must have swapped video somehow. This was a video of, Vivek was in it, but this other guy is kind of explaining it. But there was another video of Vivek Ramaswamy talking to Kayleigh McEnany on Fox News, where he was talking about this as well. So, is it going to happen? Joe Biden, the nominee? Who knows, man? They're still claiming, they're dug in, they're saying that he is the nominee. But of course, that has been the story ever since the debate. Vivek Ramaswamy says the fact that the mainstream media has suddenly turned so hard on Biden right now gives them an artificial credibility to the public. And they're going to cash this in when they prop up Biden's replacement this fall and try to debilitate Trump, allowing them to claim they were playing it straight the whole time. So that's actually something I could see the mainstream media doing, because they can say, hey, look it, we treat both sides fairly. We went after Biden so viciously, so brutally. And that means, when we talk about Trump so viciously and brutally and probably conjure up things that are completely false about Donald Trump, that means you can trust us. Trust us. Yet it's funny because people will not, they have, it seems like people really have short memories, especially when it comes to the mainstream media. And I don't think this is necessarily people's fault. To a certain degree, I think it is. I think it's because we as a society today, we have like information overload. It's like constant information is just like boom, 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 boom. It's like it's always flowing. We have it literally in our hand, in our phones, on Twitter. Especially if you're on Twitter, it's just like a constant stream of information. And the algorithms are designed to push the new information up first. So you're constantly getting a new stream of new information, constantly being updated. So if you are just kind of the normal person, it's kind of hard to cross-reference the new information you get back with some of the old information you get, unless you have people really pointing it out. So a lot of the public may not remember how the media, CNN, MSNBC, the left-wing media at least, just did not say anything about Biden and actually said the opposite about Joe Biden for a long time. And then not only that, but they went a step further and they said that the Republicans were producing cheap fakes and deep fakes about Joe Biden, and he is not, in fact, old, weak, and senile. So we will see if that works on the public. I believe, just like any infection, just like any virus, I believe that this information virus is something that the public will get immune to. This BS bias, it's like a BS meter. After a while, it's hard. At first, it's hard to kind of pick up on it. But after you get lied to for so long, you kind of get jaded. And you realize, and you can tell when the media is doing it. I believe that this is happening on a mass scale right now. It might take a little time, but I think it's been happening for a while, and I think we're building up a tolerance to this sludge coming from mainstream media. I really do. But during the celebration on the South Lawn yesterday for Independence Day, Joe Biden delivers off teleprompter remarks. They had him deliver some, spur of the moment remarks off teleprompter, to prove that he is still a young buck who can think on his feet. And this is some of what he had to say. Let me know, guys. What do you think? Hey, if you guys are out there, if you guys are watching, looks like I have 96 people watching right now. Thank you for watching. If you could hit that like button and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. That really helps the algorithm. And I hope you enjoy the show today. But this is Joe Biden on the South Lawn at the Independence Day celebration hosted by himself and Jill Biden.
You got me, man. I'm not going anywhere. All right. All right, I'll come back out when they open the gate, okay? Thank you. One last thing. I used to think when I was a senator, there were always congestion on the highways. There's no congestion anymore. None. We go on the highway, there's no congestion. And so the way they get me to stop talking, they'll say, we just shut down all the roads, Mr. President. You're going to lose all the votes if you don't get in. But anyway, I'll be back out. Thank you. I love you. Thank you.
He's really thankful, it looks like. Really thankful. Hey, it's not over. Hold on. It's not over. It might seem like it's over. It's not over. There's probably more thank yous coming up. He's looking lost. Everyone is kind of gathered around him. He jogs off. Oh, I gotta mute that. That's a song. So I thought he said some more stuff. Maybe I'm getting a lot of clips mixed up. So maybe there's a different clip that I saw that, but no, lots of thank yous. He tells a joke about congestion in the roadways. And he says, if they ever want me to stop, they tell me that they have to shut the roads down. I didn't really follow that. Is that because presidents have to have, a lot of cars and they have to shut roads down? I'm not really sure. But the really bad one everyone is talking about, one of the bad ones, actually, there's one that's almost as bad as this, is Joe Biden. He seemed to have mistook July 4th for Christmas for a split second. And if you look at the text behind them, I can almost see why. The 4th of July text behind the drums there, it kind of looks like a Christmassy text. So maybe he caught it out of the corner of his eye and it brought him back to, those dear Christmas moments with family where Hunter Biden was smoking crack under the mistletoe. And He comes out. He's introduced by Kamala Harris, who introduces him as, or starts to introduce him as vice president. And guys, this is just a train wreck. I'm just having a hard time following this all. I got to kind of get it all lined up in my brain. Comes up and he says, ho, ho, ho. Yes. And if you don't believe me, guys, I'll play you the actual proof right here.
And we give thanks to our commander-in-chief, the President of the United States, the extraordinary President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Independence Day.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Independence Day. Yes, that actually happened. What a train wreck this administration is, guys. I mean, what is that? Man, it's like all you had to say, Joe Biden, is come out and say happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day. Why did you have to interject one of your weird words like ho, ho, ho that is from a completely different holiday? There were some people that had some theories that maybe he was referring to Kamala Harris when he said this, which, come on, that would be rude. Her husband is standing right there. But then again, he does have dementia, so they tend to have a little bit of a looser mouth on them. So if he was doing that, Joe Biden, I will hand you the W. That's really funny. But at this point, it is simply a theory. If it comes out that is fact, I will give you props, Joe Biden. Another thing that happened during this 4th of July celebration is this. Joe Biden comes out with food on his suit. Yes, he must have been enjoying some delicious 4th of July food. And if you look, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a smudge between his top button and second button on his suit. I'll pause it when it kind of zooms in there. You see there, that's the smudge. It looks like it could be some like potatoes and gravy or something like that, or maybe some dressing or stuffing. I'm not really sure. It's definitely something that really worked into his suit there. It's brown, so maybe he was having some turkey gravy. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm assuming that this is food smudged on his suit. So, very interesting stuff, guys. It looks like he was enjoying his food very much, which good for him. The White House must have cooked up a banger for the 4th of July celebration. Must have been some delicious food. Now, this is probably after the ho, ho, ho comment. This is probably the worst, I would say, look for Biden, kind of making him look old and feeble. This is probably the worst one. Now, I don't know exactly when Biden went on this radio station. I believe it was recently, but this just started making his rounds on Twitter. It's Joe Biden who goes on a Philadelphia radio station and says that he is proud to be the first black woman to serve with a black president. Yes, Joe Biden has officially become the first black woman to serve with a black president. Now listen closely, guys. It's just audio. I will try to turn it up so it's pretty clear for you guys. But he kind of stumbles his words, but take a listen.
By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman to serve with a black president. I'm proud to the role of the first black woman in the Supreme Court. There's just so much that we can do because together there's nothing. Look, this is the United States of America. By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman to serve with a black president. I'm proud to the role of.
So I let it play kind of twice there. It's kind of hard to parse out what he's saying right there, but he does say that in fact, I don't know. It's hard for me to say that he was thinking that. I think he got his words jumbled up, but it is funny just considering. let's kind of parse through this.
Proud to be, as I said,
I'm proud to be, as I said,
first vice president,
the first vice president,
first black woman,
the first black woman
served with a black president.
served with the black president.
Proud to the role of the first black woman in the Supreme Court.
Okay, that is ineligible. I can't make it out. I'll have to go maybe to the whitehouse.gov later, where they always fill in his ineligible comments that he makes as president and fills it with something either that they themselves come up with, or sometimes they themselves can't even figure out what he's saying, so they just put ineligible. So that's interesting. Another very interesting phenomena happening right now. This was retweeted by Scott Adams. I don't know if you guys know who Scott Adams is. I enjoy me some Scott Adams, a guy, good stuff. He is the creator of the Dilbert comic. If you guys know what the Dilbert comic is. I was introduced to the Dilbert comic by my dad. He loved it. His favorite one was, I forgot the whole context, but I just remember Dilbert was calling somebody a lying liar. And my dad has used that phrase probably a gazillion times since he read that comic. It's very funny. But this was retweeted by Scott Adams. He says, in response to this RNC Research, who tweeted out this video, it looks like job numbers from the past 2 months have been revised downwards, negative 111,000. So it's in reverse. Wow, that's really crazy. I mean, look at the media. Really, they're revising things or making sure that they're accurate. And it just so happens to be right after the debate, when everyone's going after Joe Biden, when the media is just having an onslaught, just a free-for-all against Joe Biden. And Scott Adams says, without looking it up, how many times in the past year have job numbers been revised down versus up? I think that's a fantastic point. I think it's important for people to realize what the media is doing here. It's all strategic. They're one and the same, in bed with the Democratic Party. Plain and simple. Now, that's okay, I guess, to a certain degree, but the imbalance is so apparent when you look at the left versus the right. I guess the right wing, to some degree, I mean, I don't rubber stamp everything that Fox News says, but they are the right wing media, mainstream media, I guess. So we have one. And when people make this argument, well, the Republicans have Fox News, and Fox News is so bad, and they're so biased, I'm like, okay, so you want to say that the Republicans have Fox News. Okay, fine, we got Fox News. The left has NBC, MSNBC, CNN, CBS, basically every other mainstream media outlet out there. Mainstream. But that all those pale in comparison to the real news site out there. And it's not necessarily a news site. It's more of a site that curates news. You guys all know about it. It's Google. Yeah. Every other news site, every other reach, everything is paled in comparison to the reach that Google has on our elections. And they have a left-wing bias. You can see it every time you search for a topic, anything. Search for Trump, search for Biden. It is insanity. So people that say, oh, the right wing has Fox News. Okay, compared to what? Compared to Google, MSNBC, NBC, CNN, all these other ones? That really, whoever has Google really has the biggest advantage ever. It's like David versus Goliath. I think what we have, what the conservatives have to a large degree, is just the truth. And that's really what balances the scale. Even though the other side has all of these tricks up their sleeve and have all of these companies who essentially work for them. But I digress. The official numbers from the past 2 months, job numbers, have been revised downward. 111,000. Let's take a look at this. Let's hear about this. This is on CNBC.
June jobs report. Non-farm payrolls expands 206,000. And that, of course, is benchmarked against the rearview mirror, which right now is going to be revised. Minus 111,000 is the 2-month revision.
Oh, wow.
And if we look at the unemployment rate, he nailed it. Our buddy nailed it up 0.1% from 4% to 4.1%. 4.1%.
Very interesting. So the media is revising downward instead of revising upward. Remember when the media was reporting on how Biden added so many jobs, so many jobs to the economy, and the Biden administration and the White House were tweeting out this graph which showed, it was almost comical. I wish I could find it again and bring it up for you guys. I didn't think about this before I started the show, but it showed all like past presidents, the jobs that they added or lost from the economy versus the Biden administration. And it's like, I don't even know what to use for scale. Trump added like this much and Biden added like this much. It was like ridiculous what the graph showed. But of course, everybody knows where those numbers came from. It's because during COVID, there were so many jobs that were wiped out from the economy, just wiped out. Lockdowns, it was crazy. You guys know what happened there. I am still seething from what happened during those years. I feel like it was one of the most damaging things to happen to our society in a very long time. But a lot of jobs were lost, or at least put on hold, and they were put in the system as lost. So Joe Biden, of course, he comes into office. All these jobs are still lost because he comes into office during the pandemic. And slowly we start to get back to some semblance of normalcy. So businesses are picking up. There's no more lockdowns. You don't have to wear masks everywhere. And businesses start hiring again, start filling in positions. And what happens? All of those are registered by the Biden administration and the White House as brand new jobs. Look at this, guys. We got the biggest number of jobs ever. Look at how great. Look at how much we've grown the economy since Donald Trump, who just decimated all these jobs numbers. Guys, it's like pure manipulation. They're liars. I remember this being posted on Twitter on multiple occasions and seeing this. I'm like, are people actually dumb enough to fall for this kind of stuff? And the answer is yes. Some people really are. But let's pivot to this, guys. This is something else I thought was wild. I mentioned this at the beginning of the show. There are extremely young influencers, TikTokers on TikTok, who are shilling for Biden. Like, how old is this kid? I would say maybe 7 or 8 years old. Is this like a Harry Sisson wannabe? Someone who is being paid? I don't know. Like, what does this accomplish? Is this real? Is this like a tactic they're trying to use where people watch this? Oh, that's so cute. I don't know. But guys, listen, this is the Biden administration. If they have anything to do with this, they must be getting very desperate because this kid is like 7. Listen.
Y'all, I can't do it anymore. I think I'm going crazy. Stop voting for third-party candidates. They can't win, and they only make the Republicans win and Democrats lose. I can't stress this enough. We now have a Republican Supreme Court because you guys voted third party in 2016. Is 2016 not enough proof? Because now the Donald Trump Supreme Court,
Yo, kid,
Roe v. Wade.
You were in diapers in 2016.
And now we have this presidential immunity thing that stop voting third party. Seriously. Now 2024, new year. Okay, we have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, most effective administration, American history. JoeBiden.com/accomplishments if you care to learn about what he's done, by the way. I can't stress it enough. Stop voting third party. How about this? I'll make a deal. Vote third party in 2028. Do it. But 2024 is too important. Project 2025, everything is on the line. Just please. And this is not a paid ad, by the way.
What did I just say? What do you guys... What is that? This kid is talking about 2016 like he was like, like he voted in the 2016 election. Dude, you were in diapers just like Joe Biden is in diapers right now in 2016. You were like, what, 3, maybe? Were you even potty trained yet? This kid, with his years of just great life experience, giving just wise, sage advice to all of the normies on TikTok. It's incredible, man. I mean, it's weird to see. Are we this politicized that we have to get our little kids involved in politics? I mean, Harry Sisson was bad enough. A 21-year-old, I think he started when he was like 17, 18 or something like that. But even still, like a young person like that shilling for Biden is weird enough to see, okay? I mean, come on. No one who is young really likes Biden. Come on. Unless maybe some of them go to college and get brainwashed, I guess. But someone like Harry Sisson, he just kind of looks like a normal guy shilling for Biden. That's probably why they got him to do it. It's just weird. And now they have 7, 8-year-olds on TikTok shilling for Biden. This is not a paid ad. Okay. I don't see a world in which that's not paid. Like, why would a kid go on TikTok and do this? Someone had to tell him. Were his parents telling him? Very odd. Last thing on Biden, really, other than how it pertains to Kamala Harris. Biden tells Democrat governors that he needs more sleep and plans to stop scheduling events after 8 p.m. Okay. Very interesting. So, I guess his new tactic is for everyone just to understand his struggle. Like, listen, guys, I know I'm old. You know I'm old. I know I'm old. So in order for me to do the best job I can, I'm going to get enough sleep. And in order to get enough sleep, I have to fall asleep by 8 p.m. So I hope you understand. Thank you. Okay. Joe Biden told the governors during a meeting at the White House on Wednesday that part of his plan going forward is to stop scheduling events after 8 p.m. so that he can get more sleep, according to 3 sources briefed on his comments. The remarks that were reported by the New York Times came as Biden sought to reassure a group of more than 20 state leaders. So these are the governors from, I believe, the Democrat Governors Association that demanded a meeting with Joe Biden himself because they were so concerned over his debate performance. And when the White House tried to offer them Kamala Harris to talk to, they're like, no, we want to talk to Biden. We just saw this debate. What the heck? So I believe this is the same meeting with these Democrats from the Democrat Governors Association. But he sought to reassure these Democrats, these leaders, these governors, about his ability to defeat former President Trump in November and govern effectively for another 4 years. This comment by Biden left several governors in the room frustrated. Sources told CNN, and is one of the reasons that some of the participants have been ranked by statement. Wait a second. And is one of the reasons that some of the participants have been rankled. Okay. I thought I said ranked. They just did that, guys. They used the word rankled. Look at that. Seen in politics, they really ran with that word. That ran past the editor right there. Rankled, whoever that writer is should be fired. No writer in their right mind should use the word rankled. Come on now. But anyways, participants have been rankled by the statement of loyalty and enthusiasm from them distributed by the Biden campaign on Thursday. The White House did not immediately comment about what the president said. But a Biden aide argued that as well as doing debate prep in the week after his 2 trips to Europe, Biden was engaged in hours of official work in addition to hours of campaign work. And then they compare Joe Biden to Bush and Obama. George W. Bush went to bed at 9, and Obama made dinner at 6:30. Yeah, but both of those individuals could speak effectively. I mean, I know Bush had some gaffes, but they were kind of funny gaffes, you know? Like, not like sad funny. They were just kind of funny. You know what I mean? I know George W. Bush, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Well, if you fool me, shame on you. Yeah, I mean, they're funny. They're kind of funny gaffes. As much as I dislike George W. Bush and Barack Obama, everybody knows that he was, I mean, for all his evilness and faults, he was a very charismatic speaker. Very good speaker, Barack Obama was. That's the difference. And also, if they were to be waked up in the middle of the night to take care of something, I would assume at the time they were president, they could handle it without being half dead, right? But this spokesperson for the Biden campaign, Kevin Munoz, normally the presidents strike a balance, and so does Joe Biden. Hardly the same rigor as Donald Trump, who spends half of his day ranting on Truth Social about his plans that would cause a recession, another half golfing, and the other half golfing. Okay. Hey, I personally like Trump's rants on Truth Social. I personally like having an unfiltered look at what my candidate thinks. I think that is refreshing, okay? I prefer getting my information directly from the source than a poofy-haired lesbian who is the one who delivers all the remarks for the president and does a terrible job, by the way. Press secretary. That's what I was trying to think of. Poofy-haired lesbian press secretary. Yes. But in wake of the poor performance, some Democrats have begun to call for the president to drop out of the race. Biden himself, on Thursday, signaled that he intends to remain in the race. An attendee at the July 4th barbecue at the White House said to the president, "We need you." And he responded, "You got me. I'm not going anywhere." I don't know if you heard that during the video I played earlier. But Wes Moore of Maryland and Kathy Hochul of New York and Tim Walz, they're all in for Biden. So we'll see how that turns out. But the potential Democrat nominee for president, Kamala Harris, let's hope that it doesn't come to this, but just in case, we'll go over some of her lies, guys, because she is a dang liar. Not only is she annoying and she has a cackle and what has been unburdened by what could be, whatever that saying is. Not only does she have all those faults, but she's also a straight up liar. This is a video about of Kamala, who in November lied about whether Joe Biden is fit to be president. This is just a few months ago. This is in November of last year. She's asked if there ever is a problem with Biden's cognitive ability. Do you think that you could go tell the American public? Like, would you do that? She's asked this directly. This is a few months ago. And Kamala says, of course I would, if necessary, but there's no need. Listen.
Let me ask you in a more complicated way. I think there's a lot of people would say she can't say anything else. She couldn't tell if there was a problem.
I'm not lying. I'm telling you a fact.
But if there ever is a problem, do you think that you could go tell the American public? Do you think in your role that you're in a position to do that?
Of course, if necessary, but there's no need for that. There is a political argument that is being made that is not based on substance. And you're asking me to hypothesize around what are my duties to the American people as Vice President of the United States that are based on ethics and morals and the law. I will always follow those rules. But I am suggesting to you that it is important we not be seduced into one of the only arguments that side of the aisle has right now on this issue in a way that is intended to distract from the accomplishments.
Wow, that is the level of gaslighting right there is incredibly impressive to me. Kamala Harris, word salad here. She jumps through all these hoops and comes up with all these like big words. We can't be seduced by the other side of the aisle, like one of their main arguments that they have against us. And talks about laws and ethics and all these other things. But she directly says she's not lying. Now, guys, between after the debate where we abruptly see the press reporting negatively on Joe Biden from November of last year, just a few months, has that much changed? No. She's lying. She knows. She's Biden's vice president. She knows. And this is something that they were trying to keep from the American people, hilariously, for a very long time, ever since Biden took office. And the only reason why they're able to keep something like this from the American people, and the only reason why she's able to lie and people not just completely just laugh at her and call her a total liar and insane, is because the media. Once again, it always comes back to the media, the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party, just brainwashes people into accepting their version of reality and to dismiss their version, referring to the media's version of reality, and to dismiss the actual reality that people see with their own eyes. That's how she's able to come on the stage and talk to this guy and completely lie to the American people when they have access to the internet. They have access to videos of Biden. They can hear, even though Biden didn't come out and give a whole lot of press conferences, he gave some public appearances where he sounded awful. And they could have seen all these things for themselves. And they could see all these things for themselves. But once again, the media, either they don't report on it or they try to twist it. And they try to get you and the public to see this version of reality, this false version of reality that they themselves paint. So that's how Kamala, cackling Kamala here, is able to do this, of course. I mean, we all know it. It's frustrating. And not only that, this is in January. This is this year, just a few months ago. Kamala assured everybody, the American people, that Biden was actually tireless in terms of working. There's no problem. He's tireless. He's got the most energy that I've ever seen. He's like a 20-year-old. I don't think she said that, but I mean, essentially.
I want to get to the heart of what I think you're raising, which you've said is his age. So let's talk about that. I spend a lot of time with Joe Biden, be it in the Oval Office or the Situation Room. And I can tell you, this is someone who is tireless in terms of working on behalf of the American people. To your point of knowing Joe Biden, he comes from a background and a place in his heart and soul where he cares so deeply about working people, about families.
Okay, thanks, Kamala. Biden is tireless. A couple other clips of Kamala that we have, you know, just to kind of get this out there for ammo, just in case she is the Democrat nominee. Here's a video of Kamala Harris encouraging BLM riots in 2020.
But they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And this is a movement, I'm telling you. They're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And everyone should take note of that on both levels, that they're not going to let up, and they should not. And we should. That's
interesting. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. They're not going to let up, and they should not. So, of course, we have Kamala Harris. The double standard is just totally apparent between the right and the left, encouraging these very violent protests that have happened, these BLM protests. But, of course, it's different because it's BLM, right? It was at the time. Now we see all of the corruption happening within that organization. We see it's starting to trickle out. The leaders of BLM who have bought multi-million-dollar mansions from the spoils of that organization. But Kamala Harris back then, she was all in for BLM. It's not going to stop, and it should not stop. Insane. This is probably my favorite one right here. Kamala Harris attempting to explain how astronauts launch out of a spaceship. Guys, this is just absolute gold. Listen.
Which brings me to May 30th, 2020. Bob and Doug returned to the Kennedy Space Center. They suited up. They waved to their families. And they rode an elevator up nearly 20 stories. They strapped in to their seats and waited as the tanks beneath them filled with tens of thousands of gallons of fuel. And then they launched. Yeah, they did.
Jeez.
Which brings me to May.
Oh my gosh. Listen, the last part just kills me, man. Hold on.
Which brings me. Yeah, they did.
Imagine, guys. Oh my goodness. It's so bad. Like, listen.
They launched. Yeah, they did.
What the? Oh my gosh, guys. Could you imagine that? By some twist of fate in November, we had President Kamala Harris. Oh God, no. What are we? I'd be like, man, I'm living in some parallel universe. I want to jump back over to the real universe where I don't have to deal with this. Have you guys seen Idiocracy, the movie? I'd be like, I'm living in Idiocracy, the movie. Yeah, they did. Oh, what? Guys, I don't know. That part just absolutely floors me. It's hilarious. All right, guys. Well, we have some other stuff happening. Apparently, Vladimir Putin of Russia, you know, the most evil man in the entire world. Let me just clarify that for the algorithm. Putin bad. Bad Putin. Putin bad, Ukraine good for the algo. Bad Putin. But the big bad wolf Putin, the worst, you know, I mean he's the worst person in the entire world right now, right? But he said, he came out and he said that he supports Donald Trump's plan to end the war in Ukraine, which should be great. This should be really good news for everybody, including the Democrats who are very concerned about Ukraine and about the mass slaughter that is happening there. Very, very sad. So all of these Democrats who are against wars and slaughter and genocide, they should all come out in support of Donald Trump's plan to end the war in Ukraine. They should all come out and in unison, is that how you say it? I don't even know. And they should all support Donald Trump. I doubt that will happen, but it's very interesting to hear it coming from Putin. We could have peace, world peace, as soon as Donald Trump is in office. Imagine.
Well, you know, the fact that Mr. Trump, as a presidential candidate, says that he's ready and wants to stop the war in Ukraine, we take that very seriously. Well, I haven't seen his ideas on how exactly he's going to do that, and that is the key question. But I have no doubt that he says that sincerely, and we support that.
Let's go. Peace on earth on November 5th. Well, I guess as soon as he's actually sworn into office, I guess November 5th is not when he would be president, be in, what, January or something? But that's good news, guys. If anybody wanted an additional reason to vote for Trump, I know he's been saying it for a few years now. As soon as he announced his presidency, he's been saying that he would fix that war in Ukraine. But, you know, with politicians, this is all talk, right? A lot of people can say, well, that's all talk. Politicians just talking. Maybe. But now we have a world leader saying that they would accept Donald Trump's plan to end the war. So if any of your liberal friends wanted any reason to vote for Donald Trump, there it is. Right there. World peace. Say, listen, you know, whenever you see a shooting star, liberal friend, you wish for world peace. That's just the way you are. Or when it's 11:11 on the alarm clock, you wish for world peace. Well, here you go. You don't have to wish for it anymore. All you have to do is vote for it. So very incredible stuff. Donald Trump. As soon as he takes office, it looks like world peace is within our grasp. Last one that we have today, guys. If it will load, here we go. Post-millennial always takes a while to load. Let me get rid of this so I have a little more room here to show you guys this. This is happening in Massachusetts, unfortunately. This is some evil stuff happening. I hate this stuff, guys. And it's just spreading everywhere like wildfire. Massachusetts bill aims to remove gendered language from birth laws to ensure legal parentage equality. Should the bill be signed into law, all instances of the traditional terms for male and female individuals necessary to bring a life into the world will be erased. So, very, very smart bill here, you know. It's good to see that they are focusing on the important things, right? But let's see what this has to do, or what's going on with this bill. A new bill making its way through the Massachusetts legislature aims to remove all mentions of mother and father and replace them with gender-neutral. Let me reread that. Replace them with gender-neutral alternatives. This bill is Bill H4750, and proponents of this bill have argued that it will ensure legal parentage equality. What? Should the bill be signed into law, all instances of the traditional terms for the male and female individuals necessary to bring a life into the world will be erased from the, quote, return and registry of births, marriages, and deaths chapter of the state's general laws with person. So this is what it's going to be replaced with. Person who gave birth and just parent taking their place. Paternity and a man and a woman are also replaced by parentage and persons, respectively. Also on the chopping block are terms such as his or hers, Instead, the document will say there, regardless of which parent was being discussed or the defendants during legal proceedings related to the child. A line which currently reads father unless he is or was the mother's husband would be changed to parent unless they are or were the spouse. What? This is ridiculous. It's just idiocracy, guys. The legislation was passed by the state house on June the 12th and sent to the state senate, both of which are dominated by Democrats. It's Democrats that are pushing this stuff. It is currently being reviewed by the Senate Ways and Means Committee. This is just the latest in a series of attempts by politicians and organizations to replace age-old terms with new gender-neutral alternatives in the name of equality. Yes, guys, everything in the name of these words right there, right here, this word right here. Equity, equality, incredible stuff. In addition to the aforementioned changes, other groups have pushed for breastfeeding to be referred to as chest feeding to accommodate transgender people. A number of words that, until recently, did not even exist outside the small niches of academia have become more mainstream as those who oppose gendered language try to force the public to adhere to their worldview. So, just something to be aware of. Of course, as usual, this is one of the things that the left really hones in on. And this is, with these words, how they change the language, guys, this is the left playing the long game. This is them whittling away at ideas, right-wing ideas. And these are not even right-wing ideas. These are just basic objective facts and reality. This is them whittling away at this. Because if they can change your words and how you talk about things, over time, that changes how you think about things, and that changes your ideology. That's what the left does. They're very sneaky in what they do. And these types of things, they spread like a virus, and it just never stops. It's just like a slippery slope. It never stops. It goes down into complete ridiculousness to where we got to change terms such as breastfeeding to chest feeding because of inclusiveness. But nothing is too ridiculous, really, when it comes to language for the Democrats. You know that. We've all been here. I'm assuming we've all been here in the United States, everyone who's watching for the past several years. So we've seen it pop up over and over and over. And it's just like, do we really have to fight these battles? These are one of the things that Democrats and Republicans historically have agreed upon. At least we had some common ground. We agreed upon these things, right? And now we don't even agree upon those things. That's why the political kind of temperature is so crazy right now. It's because these things that even Democrats and Republicans have historically agreed upon, conservatives and liberals, these basic facts, we don't even agree upon anymore. It's this leftist movement, this far left movement that is really doing this. And it's coming from within the Democrat Party. And it's causing polarization beyond what we've ever seen, to the point where there's a lot of people who think that we're going to have some sort of civil war. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for today. That's what we have for today. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Let's get to some chats from you guys. Let's see who is in the chat. I hope you guys are having a great morning. We have Michelle C. in the chat moderating. Thanks, Michelle. She says, give me a break. I have a son, and DIL and grands that live in Massachusetts. Yeah, that's in fact where this bill is making its way through the different legislators, or however it works in Massachusetts. We have Blue Dreamscapes in the chat. It says, ugh, which there are you talking about? OMG. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Jinda is in the chat. Thank you. She's a member, or he or she is a member. I don't want to misgender you, Jinda. I'm assuming you're a she. I don't know. Got the member badge right here, guys. If you would like to join as a member to support the show, you get this pretty sweet looking member badge right here. Changes colors depending on how long you are a member. But Jinda says, my favorite is the FAA made us use Biden's new term, notice to air missions. Or notice to airmen. Okay. We still use the term notice to airmen. I'll have to look that one up, Jinda. High Flight 20. Thanks for watching, High Flight. Says, I can't even imagine what grandparents would be called. Probably grand people. I would assume something like that, right? Laura Cazzola says they hate the truth. This is true. I don't think it's so much that they hate the truth. I think that they love power. They love power, and when the truth gets in the way of their power, they will throw the truth to the wayside because they will do anything. They will manipulate anything. They'll destroy anything to gain power and to retain power. I don't think the people who are pushing this stuff, at least on the very top of the pyramid, whatever, I don't think they even observe it. They even believe it's true. I believe there are some radicals who believe it's true, but the ones really pushing it all the way up on top, they don't care. It's just a way to divide people and to control people and to manipulate people because it's so ridiculous. It's just a way to grab power. Jim Barron is in the chat. One of my other moderators, thanks for modding, Jim. Thanks for hanging out. Says they are losing their bloody minds. Yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth. Jim says everyone smash that like button. Yes, guys, if you could please hit that like button, that really helps me out. And smash that subscribe button as well. Jim also says great content and analysis as always. Hey, thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. Thanks for the compliment. That really means a lot. Michelle says, thanks, Andrew. Great show today. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for hanging out. Jenna says, Andrew is my bro now. Glad I found the channel. Bros. I agree. Bros. We're bros, Jinda. I'm with you. Jeremy Brummer, of course, is in the chat. He says, welcome to the chat, Patriots. If you don't mind, hit that like button. The more shares and likes and comments helps break YouTube algorithm and forces YouTube to push this video out. Thanks. Thank you, Jeremy Brummer, one of my other valued moderators. Thanks for moderating, Jeremy, and thanks for getting here so early. I really appreciate you. And Laura Cazzola says, Behizzy showed up a couple days ago. Yes, he did. He did. He's got some bangers. He went on this. I actually talked to him on the phone a couple days ago about this. He went on this app. I believe it was called Monkey. He told me it was called Monkey. It's like this app that gives you like random people to talk to, like a random video chat app. And he was talking to people about Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So it's a very interesting video, guys. Go check it out. That was the first video he made since he had his teeth work done. But that is the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for hanging out with me this morning. I hope you all enjoyed it. And once again, hit that like button, subscribe, become a member if you'd like to support the show. If you become a member, you get access to our chat room on Discord, our exclusive secret chat room. I think you would enjoy it, guys. But guys, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope you had a fantastic 4th of July. And I will see you tomorrow morning on the next one. Thank you for hanging out.